Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Grief Angels podcast. My name is Rose Gishure. I am your host. I am so excited to be back with yet again another episode. At Grief Angels, as you all know, we demystify grief and we normalize grieving. So we discuss a lot of different topics that have to do with grief, some very painful, some very personal, but also some very technical. And our conversation today is one of those technical ones because the reality of death is, especially for us who are in Kenya, is that there has to be some succession plan to anything the person owned, right? Especially if the person was an adult. This could have been your parent, could have been your uncle, whoever it is. As long as they left property behind, that property has to be administered by somebody. So what we are talking about today is succession in Kenya. What should you know? What should you look out for? There's a lot of things that you don't know. Nobody teaches you these things. There's no classroom for it. You kind of only know this stuff when you have to go through it. I have lost both parents and I had to go through a very painful, long succession process. I don't know why they take so long. We'll ask our guest today. And my guest today is Advocate Damaris Munyua. Welcome very much to our episode 2 of the season. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So yeah, let's jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
Succession in Kenya, first and foremost, why does it take so long? Is there a process? Is there a way to jump some steps?
If you're going through the succession course, of which I don't want to use the name succession, makes people shiver.
Yeah.
It's just an inheritance
process. Okay, yes.
Let's use normal
Let's use inheritance, yeah.
So let's speak inheritance. So the inheritance process where someone died and they didn't say outrightly, chukua I get. I give you this.
A lot of Kenyans don't write wills.
And when they rest, no one goes to court.
Yeah.
It can be that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go through that long process that we've talked about.
Okay.
But if you're doing it, give yourself at least a year or a year to 2 years if it's not contested.
Okay.
Because when you file it in the first instance, you've given letters of administration. You've said you've gone through that.
Yes.
And it's gazetted.
Yes.
Once gazetted, it has to be in the system for at least 6 months, not doing anything, because it has been gazetted in the Kenya Gazette, so that if anyone has a query, they now query at that point. If no one queries, then you go back to court for the same to be confirmed, which is now the distribution of those properties. So if our courts are clogged up, after the 6 months, you may get a date like 3 months later.
Okay.
Then maybe the date you got, there's something in court, so you didn't proceed. So you get another date 3 months later.
Okay.
So that's why people say it's long.
Yes.
But if it's contested, it's something else.
Okay. I've seen court cases and families stuck in court for 10 years plus.
Even 40. I've done cases where people started the succession course when I was not born, and I'm the one dealing with them now.
Serious?
Yes.
That is ridiculous. But let's go back to 2 instances. So let's talk about when there's a will. And this is also a learning point for us. So I have a daughter today. I don't have a will. When I want to write a will, I come and deposit it with you. Is that what happens?
You come and tell me what you want so that I write it to standards. There are wills you will write and the court will say it's an invalid will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why would it be invalid?
Probably you sat with your daughter that you're giving the property to and she's the one writing the will. Yet you have 3 more children.
Okay.
So even if you're the judge seated there, would you take that as a valid will?
I don't know. I'm confused because, which goes to my next question. When I have 5 children and I have put 4 of them in the will, that one has annoyed me and I'm going to leave them out and punishing them. Can they contest? But this is my wish. These are my wishes. Can they contest?
Yes.
What? You're not respecting my wishes.
You see, the law is fair. Are they your children?
They're all my children.
So why would you feel this? Because this is good mannered. They're more my child. I'll give them this.
Maybe they did something that annoyed me.
But you're dead. Are you still annoyed when you're dead?
This is why. I mean, I know the law is supposed to be very fair, But that one I have a serious problem with. But anyway, I see it's trying to fight for the rights of that other child who's been left
you
out.
know, in law, mostly when we cannot use that justice hammer and knock, we go to equity.
Yeah.
So your mother, you've said you're an orphan.
Yes.
So what would you have assumed you're that child who was left out?
I mean, I'll be feeling very bad. Yeah?
You're feeling very bad. But are they your parents?
They're my parents.
Is it your parents' property being distributed?
It is.
So when it's being distributed, are they still annoyed at you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I hope not.
No.
Maybe they even wrote this will years back when they were annoyed at me and they just never got the chance to even
amend it.
Yeah, or to amend it. Yeah, because I know that happens sometimes. Okay. What are the most common family disputes that you see today in our courts in Kenya?
Where there are stepchildren, where polygamy is also a big undoing unto us. I know it's a law, but where that polygamous man has not been able to keep his house in order before he dies, it becomes chaotic. Only yesterday I was dealing with a polygamous house that has gone through the succession course, but they're not able to distribute the property as the court distributed because
they're still fighting.
Yeah, because the older family feels
we are the ones who have more rights than this.
Not even rights. Why are we assisting you get our father's property?
Got it.
Yet they have even a larger share than the younger family.
Yeah.
But they're still feeling you intruded so much.
Yeah.
So why are we sharing this? Yet the even biological children born out of the second family. What I've realized with polygamy, on the face of it, people seem like they're happy, they've embraced it, like, it's kawaida. But when you come to underneath,
when the person who brought you together, that man is no longer there.
That's when you know
the cookie crumbles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you find very hostile people.
Yeah.
I know there might be a 10% that are able to coexist.
Yeah.
But normally, what I've seen with those families, they fight like cats and dogs.
I know. And I want to go back on something you have mentioned around, polygamous families. So I'll give you two scenarios. Scenario one is the first family that you've just described. There was one child. This man and this woman had a baby. 10 years later, they separated, divorced. The mother and the baby have gone. This man has another family. 40 years later, then he dies. That boy who went with the mother, can he come back to claim anything from this man? And this man has not been in his life. But can he come back?
Yeah, he's the father. You see, you've mentioned divorce.
Yeah.
So this man is not polygamous because the first marriage
Actually,
died.
yes.
So the second marriage, this is his family. But because he has a second family, does not make that boy not his child.
Okay.
So when you talk of children, that is a child. But when you talk of wives or a wife, he has now this one wife because the other wife was divorced.
Yeah.
So if you're reasonable enough, you're able to get that. But most people, especially, let's talk of now the scenario we've given, the woman was divorced.
Yeah.
Especially many divorced women, when the men die, they want to come back and pose
and
like
fight for the rights.
Like they were wives.
Yes.
But honestly, you have divorce papers with you, you're not a wife.
Yeah.
You can only bring in your children.
Yeah.
And when it comes to distribution, even if this man is dead and the wife says, look, this property they want to inherit, I bought it with my money. This is the loan I took and this is the evidence. Just that I wrote it in my husband's name. So kindly this one, no.
Okay.
But this other one, he owned fully. He can share. This boy can share with my children.
Yeah.
We respect that. And the law has that space of showing contribution.
Okay.
Yes. How did you achieve this?
Oh, okay. I get that. And that's where what is matrimonial property versus what is not matrimonial property becomes very clear.
Very clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second scenario I was going to describe was, which is also a question, how does the Kenyan law protect children from previous marriages? Mtoto nimekuja na yeye and I found a husband. He has married me. I have come with my daughter. We have more kids. is my daughter entitled to his property or not if he dies?
You see, there are times you come with a child and the man embraces them as their child.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Do they have to go through an adoption process?
No, it's automatic if they choose to.
Mm-hmm.
But if they choose to adopt them legally, it's also very important.
Okay.
But also, there are times you come with a child, and I've seen that happening a lot nowadays. But the father
of that
child is still in the child's life.
Yeah.
So you see, you cannot force this child on this man.
Yeah.
Because the father is
still
there and is known and is present and is doing his bit.
Yeah.
So though people want to feel like, no, he should take my child as his child.
Yeah.
But this child will get to an adult age.
Yes.
Do they feel this man is their father, or they still hang on the
other side?
Yeah.
And if they want to claim from both, okay.
Yeah. If this stepfather takes them in as a child and even gives the child their inheritance, it's okay. And if also the biological father does the same, there's no harm.
Yeah, because then this one that you've just described is blended families. And there's a lot of blended families. Yeah. Because even I can come with a child as a girl, the man comes with a boy, we join up, and then we have 2 more kids. The question is, they're all our children. Yeah. That's what you're saying. And as long as we've been taking care of them while we are alive, even when you're not there, then we continue to take care of them in our property.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the rights of widows in cases where the man has died and he also had property that was family shared with his siblings that has come from maybe now his own father and mother? What are my rights as a widow in that case?
You see, when a man dies, the first in line for all her life in regard to the assets of the man is the wife.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Not the children?
No.
The life.
You see now that this property, what we had with you when you were living, is ours.
Yeah.
So the law says you have the life interest of those, because you'll also die. You're not
going to be here forever.
You're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
So if this man had an inheritance from his father's place, if they're very fair, the portion of this particular man, they'll give it to the wife. But you find our community is a bit selfish and greedy. We'll start reasoning out. Alikufa, kwa nini tumpe?
Maybe that woman who killed him. You know?
So it's so obvious, but because of the greed and the selfishness of our communities and our reasoning, that's why we're not able to just say, this belongs to Paul. Paul is dead. He had a wife, Mary. So this belongs to Mary. It's like obvious, but our communities don't allow us to
do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's then help Kenyans understand what is the process of inheritance. When someone says succession, we have gone through. Yeah, I know. We have gone through the funeral and the burial. It's done. How quickly can I start, and where do I even start?
There's nothing hindering you from starting immediately. All you need to do is to let's start where the person didn't have a will.
Yes.
Then we'll go to where a person had a will.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a will, in law, we call it an intestate estate.
Okay.
When someone dies, we call your affairs an estate.
Yeah, the estate of so-and-so, the estate of so-and-so.
Yeah, because you're not there. So where you didn't have a will, we call it intestate. The first steps is to get the death certificate to prove this person is dead. Then you go to your area chief to confirm, this person hailed from my area is dead and left these people. The only role the chief has is to describe who are left, not the assets. Then you as a family, you come and sit back and collect all his assets and know he had a shamba here, had a house here, had a car there, had some shares or a bank account there. So the succession cost, and also a loan, a liability. It covers both assets and liabilities.
Okay. Hey, Mr. You can inherit loans.
You see? People want to inherit assets.
Do I have to pay those loans?
Yes.
No. Are they taking off the assets maybe to cover the loans?
No, it's you to sell the asset and
then pay back the loans.
the
Okay,
loans.
got it.
But fortunately enough, these days, if it's a bank loan, you find it has an insurance that
that's
at
true.
most
That's true. Will
pays up the loan when the person is
kidogo
deceased.
tumeachiwa.
But you see, not all loans are insured.
Yeah. Okay.
So if it's not insured, then you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I remember a scenario where I was dealing with a case, an accident case, and we had a judgment, and the person ought to have been paid, and the vehicle that had hit the person
wasn't insured?
No, was insured, but when we were waiting to do the claim, the owner of the vehicle died.
What? That complicates everything.
No, so you see now you have to go to his estate. It's fresh. They've just buried their father.
It is crazy.
Yeah, but good enough we were able to settle and the family paid through the insurance.
Okay.
So we go back. Once you collect that certificate, you have a chief's letter, you have your assets and your liabilities. Now you approach court. The best way to do it is to go to a lawyer because you may not know the paperwork.
That's true.
Because it's just a paperwork that we do and we take it to court.
Yeah.
You give within a span of 2 to 3 months, you get letters of administration. We had mentioned that earlier. Then the estate is gazetted in the Kenya Gazette.
Waiting for anyone to come and contest.
Waiting for anyone
about 6 months.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So if that duration passes and one has contested, you still go back to the lawyer. They will do another paperwork to confirm how the distribution of the estate will be done.
Yeah.
It's not the lawyer to say how you're going to distribute. I'm sorry, people come and tell me, wakili, hapa tunagawana aje. No. I tell people, go back to your house, sit, tell me how you want to distribute.
Yeah. If they agree, you will go with what they agree to.
No, they have to agree.
Okay.
They have to agree. If they don't agree, I'll just tell the court they have not agreed and now it becomes contested. So it goes another direction.
Interesting. I have a question there. What if we come back and see, because that's what we did in our case, 3 children, we said we all want to be joint owners.
Yeah,
it means
that's
then
okay.
That's what we've agreed.
That's
no one
okay.
person gets this and you get this. It's all of us co-own everything.
That's okay. But at times I advise clients, because you're at this level, can you make solid decisions that will separate all of you?
Yeah.
Because
sometimes
now,
it's not easy because maybe it's the family land, the family home, where you shago kwenu.
Yeah, you can agree if the ushago home is, if your mother is there, the portion that has the house, you can give it to your mother. Then your mother will say, we have 5 acres, we have 4 of us.
So kila mtu apewe
eka moja yake. Then mother remains with, you see.
Yeah, that actually, yeah.
But the other instances, the property is too small
to do that.
You don't have the chance to separate it that way. So you can still hold in joint this. But where you have vast properties, kindly distribute fully.
Yeah.
Because
finish.
Yes.
Apple. Yes. Because the next time, and in fact, interestingly, which now I wish somebody had told me this, is when we did the joint ownership of everything, my brother, me and my sister, maybe in I think we got the grant in 2018. We didn't do anything about it. So every property we disposed of 3 ways. So maybe tumeuza shamba hapa, 3 people sign on the whatever. What has come back to happen now is, unfortunately, also my brother has died. So then everything is still owned in the 3 initial names, but now he has a wife and children.
You see.
So then that means we have to go through another succession that allows them to come in.
Yes. No, his. The ones going to his and saying, this property XXX, he holds a part of.
A third of this.
Exactly.
This side, yeah.
So meaning 2/3 are
the
not
ones who
for
are coming
the
out
estate.
for this. Okay.
So the 2/3 are not for the estate, but has to go to the estate so that you drop a third to the estate.
To the wife and to the kids.
Yes.
Okay. That is, man, I wish we had separated. But okay. Where there's a will, is the process simpler?
Yeah, it's easy if the will is not contested.
Yeah.
Because so many wills, we fight about them in court. We fight a lot. Probably there are things we call invalid wills. It's not up to standard. So if it's up to standard, it's very easy. Though because the properties are in the will and they've been distributed in the will.
Yeah.
So we call it probate.
Okay.
Tested succession.
Okay.
So we file probate papers, but they also go through the same process.
Okay.
Yes.
If I take you back to where you said the chief of the area says something, we live in Nairobi. Chief ako
yes. Chief lazima utamtafuta.
But the chief also doesn't really know who, in my estate, like in the apartment block that I live in today, I can't tell you where the chief is. And if I find him, he won't know. You know that we live very individualistic lives.
You know
in
what
Nairobi.
He'll do? Even like the chief to the president is my friend. Na mwenjingi namwambia unajua wewe ni chief for president.
Chief for president. Maybe that's also my chief at this point.
Exactly. You see? Yeah. So you tell him, hey chief, wewe ni chief mkubwa. Wewe wacha kutuambia. Yeah. But you will, when you're in trouble, you will know the chiefs. Hata utauliza soja, kwa chief ni wapi? Hata kwa chief ni. Kwa chief ni pale. Yes. Huyo chief, how will he know? Ama he'll find a way to. He will, you see, his biggest role is administration. Yeah. He knows that block. Ukienda useme, I live on this block, on this. He'll say, okay, and where do your siblings live? You might find one of them still lives in Ushago. So who will be the best chief to know you? It's the Ushago chief. Ushago, and who will confirm who's been left. Okay. Yeah. As I come to a close on our conversation today, I think maybe one or two last questions. For Kenyans living abroad, and they have to go through this process, is there a way the government has made it easier for them, or do they actually have to physically come and participate in the inheritance process, or can they do it from abroad? We're doing it very easily. You see, with 3/4 of our attendance in court is online. Yeah. So they are also participating. Okay. Just time your hours. Yeah. When you told the court session is on this date, then you just make sure you're available. It's so easy. Okay. We are able to do it. We've done it over and over again. Okay. So you live and find us in the morning saying, oh, slot me very early. Yeah. I have a client where he is. Okay. It's 3 a.m. It's 2 a.m. Can I start with them? Okay. So we're doing it so easily these days. Okay. Are there any recent changes to the succession law that we should know about, or has nothing changed that we need to know about? Nothing to the public. Okay. Yeah, nothing everything much seems to have been. Yeah, because if we go that direction, we go to the amendments of the Marriage Act and all that. Okay. Which really. Okay. Yes. Okay, but then as a succession lawyer also, what advice would you give young people, even old people? Because first and foremost, writing wills is still very much a taboo. Yeah. To the older generation, you're wishing me dead. Yeah. I told my mom this before she died. You need to write a will. And she said the same thing. Unapanga nikufe lini, you know. But what she did, thankfully for us, is she listed down all her property. So we were not confused, because sometimes you don't know what property your father is holding somewhere. So for us, she told us, this is here, this is here, this is here. Everything was listed. So when we went to succession, it was easy to chase that stuff. And I know one of the next conversations we're going to have is with even unclaimed assets, to go through the unclaimed assets process and what happens there. But what advice would you give us as young people, young parents, even our parents, when it comes to succession planning? For inheritance, I wish, I'll answer it in form of a question. Okay. If your mother or your father had given you the assets you have from them today when they were alive, and told you, the title is in your name, here, have it. Or now the way you did it, which would have been very pleasing to you? The first one. I think it's the first one. When the title was in my name. Okay, second question, because that's where the challenge comes in. When they were living, and probably even today they are, and 10 years back, they give you a title deed in your name. Ningeuza hiyo shamba kwanza. Wait. When I'm broke, I'm going to sell it. Wait. And they said, this is yours. Yeah. It's in your name, but you'll start using it or start taking advantage of it only when I die. How many Kenyans would wait? We would kill our parents. Do you see? Because I'm sitting on 2 million shillings. So I see your point.
I see your point that yes, but some parents still do that. Some parents give. And that doesn't become succession. That becomes like a gift now. Nimekupatia hii shamba.
Nimekupatia hii, but tutaitumia ni when I die. Even if I die at 100 years.
Utakosana me will panga for you.
You see now,
I'm a bad person.
You see now, that's the problem we have. But that would be the most smart way of doing it.
Yeah.
People who have responsible children, because clients come and tell me, Kili, badilishie hii, but fulani asijue nimepea fulani. And for the ones that are difficult, they remain in their names waiting for succession. But now the problem comes if the ones you thought are good.
Yeah, I see.
When you die, they also think it's our mother's estate we want to inherit. Yet they had already gotten their share.
That's true.
So our selfishness and our greed makes us not go progressively.
Yeah.
But it would be so easy to inherit.
If only we were not greedy Kenyans, so greedy people.
Yes. Yeah. So for that, I would prefer someone to do a will. It makes things easier.
Yeah.
But also, there are instances I would prefer you not to do a will based on how you assess your family.
Based on the family dynamics. Okay.
So, all in all, those are probably the three options we may have. But assess your family, assess your background. How do you hold each other? Mother akitoka, by the way, we are not friends. Never look for me.
That's true.
You see, you cannot write such a people a will. They will fight all their lives.
They'll kill each other even.
So the dynamics of a family
have to be considered
when you're dealing with inheritance. Yes.
That's it. I know we'll have more conversations to continue. We do have a lot of questions also in our community. Thank you for everybody who's asked us a question. I hope we've been able to go through some of them. I hope you've learned something. Advocate Nyambura, thank you so much for being with us today. We will have you definitely back now with more specific questions. There's a lot to discuss around inheritance. We will also, for anybody who might want to talk to her directly, we'll ask us. We'll give you her contacts if you're looking for a succession lawyer. But all in all, thank you for listening today. Thank you for watching. We wish you a pleasant day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.